Hello there, only one Kenobi here, only one. Here we are now on 234, I believe, R2D2. And I've got a figure loose for you there, but it's not the one that's in the card back. I decided to cop out and save a few pennies and not buy this because I kind of already have it. And though I always say, you can never have too many R2s, which I do believe that, I just didn't really fancy getting that one, really. I've got plenty of them. What was this one I just showed you? This one is this one here. See, I thought I'd talk about that as well, because this is a really good correction of a part of TVC history, if you want to call it that. This is part of the VOTC, Vintage Original Trilogy Collection, which is the germ or embryo of what is the modern vintage collection. And this always irked me because that was kind of like done before. What I mean is this is clearly an Empire Strikes Back image and card back or whatever, but it was mad really that Hasbro decided to bring this version out in 2004 with the Return of the Jedi badge on it, which is what would have happened in the 80s. They would have done that. They would have had, if you think back to the original Kenner line, you would have had a Farm Boy Luke on a Star Wars card, Farm Boy Luke on an Empire Strikes Back card, and even a Farm Boy Luke on a Return of the Jedi card, even though in Return of the Jedi there was no Farm Boy Luke. It was just their way of reissuing a figure that once existed further down the line, and they put the current movie on that card back, if that makes sense, which is just the way they did it. But it was pretty mad that this was one of the ones that they did wrong. They did Chewbacca like this as well, with the Return of the Jedi emblem on it, even though the image is quite clearly from a different movie. So they were obviously tipping their hat to that particular release, which is a bit odd, but still. So I have brought that figure as well into this, which is one that sadly is blighted with yellowing. Can you see it? But what's really lovely about this version of R2, hello there, see my reflection, is the lovely chrome vac metal finish on that one's lovely anyway. So that's that. So it's nice to see that Hasbro have now corrected, or at least given you now in TVC, the correct badge to go with the image, which is of course Empire Strikes Back. You must come along now, R2. There's really nothing more we can do, and my joints are freezing up. Don't say things like that. Of course we'll see Master Luke again. And he'll be quite all right. You'll see. Anyway. All right. So the figure I have here is the one that is the VC25, I believe. That is the R2D2 from the sale badge. And it comes with that particular R2, which is pretty much this figure here. Comes with loads of accessories, which I actually put on this droid here, which is from 4-pack Disney Parks Droid Factory pack. The orange droid is very nice, but I just happened to choose that one to put R2's drink rack on it and put in my barge, because inside my barge I have figures from an era pre-Return of the Jedi, sort of like a post-Clone Wars era, just the way I've done it really. But just thought I'd show you the drinks rack there, and then this is the figure here, pretty much, ladies and gentlemen. It has got the same sensor scope that this one has. I'll show you the figure in the bubble in a minute, but in fact, we'll do that now. We'll come back to the figure in a minute. I just want to show you the sensor scope, because this new R2 here has a sensor scope, but it's been nicely painted, that one. This one, in the previous release, the VC25, I believe, didn't have the same paint app. Just so you know, there's a bit more detail on that. And then it is, I dare say, a really nice looking R2. It's got the proper R2 colours. This one here seemed a bit more navy blue than royal blue, should we say. A very dark, deep royal blue is R2 normally, I think, isn't he? This one had a slight sort of navy-ish going towards the, not turquoise family, but I don't know, just different shade of blue. There's not much in it really, but that one's kind of a shinier one maybe. I don't know, I don't want to get this wrong and sound like I'm ridiculous. I can't tell if the heads are the same though. It looks like that one's got a slightly wider dome than this one. I think probably they are the same figure. This is certainly the same. That's got that too. And also this version, or this sculpt, mold, whatever you want to call it, came out in the Droids line as well, which I'll go and show you. Bear with me. Yeah, there you go. Which is an R2 I always thought looked pretty bad. I don't know anybody who would want that one loose unless you specifically wanted to recreate what it was like in the 80s and you had that figure loose. But yeah, R2 there, he's obviously painted to match how he looked in the 80s, but not the best. This is more for a carded collector, this line here, this brief venture with the droids line, but really you want an R2 to look like that, don't you, really? Even the classic 80s one was painted correctly. They've obviously, that's just a cartoon variation, isn't it? Weird looking R2, that one. So that's that. Nice image on the car back, and as you can see, they've cleaned that up immensely. That's way better. Because this one here has got the same kind of grain it probably had in the 80s. So in that sense, this one is very much more authentic as a modern interpretation or recreation of what used to be in the 80s, but this is definitely nice. And they've done that a lot in the vintage collection. They've done a lot of cleaning up. I dare say the Bespin guards have probably had a little bit of attention. Yeah, there's been loads of cards where they've really done a nice job cleansing them. Very good. What's on the back? A lot of people always want to see what's on the back. There you go. All have now been done, except for Isdam Edian. Hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Finally, I think I have shot him already, but just have another last look at this figure. That's the, well, VC25, so it isn't that. But anyway, you get a sense of how good this R2 is. It is a decent R2. A lot of people have said about it being wrong. It doesn't fit correctly into certain... is it too small for an X-Wing compartment or something like that? I think they've used the same one for Blue Leader's droid, whatever his number is, I've forgotten. And that caused a little bit of a stir, but I did test it out myself. I remember Tim of Bosk's Bounty, have you heard of him? Yeah, he got in touch and rang me one day and said, "Yo, can you just do me a favour, mate? If you've got VC25 loose, can you put it in your X-Wing and see if it fits all right?" And I did, and it seemed to fit all right. So, yeah, man. As in, not too big for it, but too small for it. But yeah, it seemed to work all right. Anyway, R2-D2 is a lovely droid, isn't he? You can't beat R2. Lovely blue, silver and white. Classic droid. Lovely character. George Lucas's favourite character, probably. And Jon Favreau as well, I believe. Didn't he get a bit teary when R2 hit the screen? It's lovely, that, isn't it? Right, well, I can't get that in. What do I do? Do I need to turn his head off, for God's sake? Sorry, I'm having trouble with the sensor scope here. What the hell do I do to get that in? Aha. I think I've done it. So if I get that out, I want to show you the... There's the gadgets and gizmos you can get out of it. Anyway, thank you for watching. Nice to review this. R2's a little bit of a mascot for the channel because my first ever video was R2-D2. Wishing that they brought out the classic R2 card back from A New Hope, which they now have. Well done. This channel has come a long way since then, and a lot of wishes have come true. So thanks, Hasbro. There's just Count Dooku, an AT-AT driver, please. AT-AT driver. Do it. You know, come on, man. Ridiculous. Waiting far too long for those. And Luke, Han, and Leia as well from New Hope. They are a definite need. This has been Only One Kenobi. Only one. Out.